Now, there's one thing I was flicking through the book, and I came across this concept of awareness and consciousness.
Yes.
And you mentioned before you used to kind of use it interchangeably and all that, but and you tried to explain the difference between the two, but I was a little bit confused.
Yes.
If you could throw some light on
Sure.
that. What
Sure.
is awareness and what is consciousness?
Well, the first thing is that in the English language especially, we don't differentiate these clearly. So the key thing, I think, for any philosopher is to try and say, well, this is what I mean, and to be consistent.
Okay.
And as I said, the little bit that you read there, I've used them in different ways in the past, and I was trying to find a way that works. And so the problem with the words is that I want to say that the field, the unified field, arises. It can be if you call that consciousness, as is often done in translations of the East, usually, you end up with this difficult thing, because in its pure state, if you like, in itself, it's unconscious, and so it's not separate. If it's not separate, it's not conscious. So you've got unconscious consciousness, which is a little bit difficult. So what I'm saying is that if we're going to think of it, if we imagine the field as a field of unconscious awareness, these are just words, but they can help. Then we're arising as conscious awareness. Or another way that you can do it that I'm favoring more these days, there's unconscious being, which is arising as centers of conscious being.
Okay. So the first one is the deeper level, the non-local level.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And what arises is the local.
Yes. So, and that enables me to say something which I think is important, which is that this experience of separateness is not the enemy to awakening. It's the vehicle through which we awaken. That's why it's not a mistake. A lot that gets said sometimes really worries me, because it sounds as if our whole human experience is some terrible error. You've come into a world which is an irrelevant dream, which you really just need to see through. You've learnt to think, and that's a huge mistake. You've become educated, which is all thoughts. That's a waste of time. You've developed an individual self. Oh, that's a waste of time. It's like, well, is that right? Am I going to take my kids and tell them that? Don't learn to think. Don't develop an individual self. Life is just an illusion, darling. It's like, don't have any desires. I can't, it's mad. It doesn't work. What I see is that separateness is consciousness. That the field of awareness or of being becomes conscious as soon as it divides itself as a perspective. In other words, if the one wants to look at itself, it has to take a perspective. And then suddenly there's a perspective on the one. And what it's done is taken infinite perspectives. And here's two of them.
I get it.
The oneness of the universe is so by definition, now we've got two perspectives here, two different locations in space and time.
Okay. So am I perceiving this correctly? What you're saying at the deeper level, there's this very silent, if you like, water, and we are the two waves that
Yes. And the thing about the waves is that's where we're conscious.
Yes.
That's where we're conscious.
I got it now.
So I often think of we go to the field subjectively. We go there every night in deep sleep.
Definitely, yeah.
And we dissolve into it, and there's nothing.
Yes.
We exist. We don't know we exist.
Right.
We only become conscious that we exist in the morning when we go subject, object.
We rise up as a wave then.
Suddenly there's a peak to the wave, and everything's divided, and then we divide up the whole world. Flower. Good. Person. Floor. Chair. And the more we do that, the more conscious we are.
Right. Okay.
So then consciousness, rather than being the problem, is the foundation. Now we're conscious. Right. Now the spiritual process then is simply going, well, now we're conscious. What is it? What is consciousness? What is the I? What is the thing which is actually looking? Because that's the whole field.
Okay.
And as we go back, now we find, we're not just separate.
Yeah.
It's also all one. And then the love arises.
Yeah,
and that takes us back in, and we go, great, and I love it. So we've done this. And when we do that, we're in love with it suddenly.
Yeah. It's amazing. I can see that, it is not separate. I mean, the water and the wave, and we're all connected through that water. It's just we give these forms as we awake in the morning and all that, but then it all dies down like calm water.
And people say to me often, when I'm going around, they'll go, Tim, I want to be one with everything.
I want to what?
I want to be one with everything.
One with everything.
And I say, great,
okay,
go to sleep.
Okay.
Because you will be one with everything.
Yeah.
And they go, that's not what I mean. And it's not what I mean. I'm being facetious. But what they mean is, I want to be consciously one with everything. But consciousness is separateness.
It is separate.
So we can't be just one. We can be both one and separate. And that's what we are already, right now.
Okay.
We're separate, and to deny it would be crazy. And look, actually, if you become conscious of the deep self, we're the whole field arising as these two waves, as you say, two little centers, going, hello.
Yeah. That sounds like what John Hagelin was saying yesterday. That bottom level, unified.
Yeah.
Okay.